Okay, welcome everybody. This year was donated the El Nishmas Levi Yitzchak ben Aryeh Lev HaKohen Shlita, and may have the ultimate aliyah with the Guf Gashmi down here, and may we see him speedily now with Mashiach. So every day we read about Amalek. Every day we read in the Sheshes Chiras, the six remembrance, read about Amalek and how Amalek attacked us while we were marching out of Mitzrayim. We were in a fiery mood, and the whole world was quite aware that the Yidden just left Egypt with mighty makas, mighty plagues, that Hashem showed the Egyptians and showed the Yidden how dear they were to them. And, the Egyptians pursued the Yidden. And what happens is everyone understood that the Jews were chosen by Hashem. The Jews were a nation not to be messed with. And it was quite clear that the Jews, there was something there, and if you'd say, you describe it as invincible at that point. Comes Amalek, and Amalek, not a nation that necessarily was the mightiest, not a nation where you would think would have a vendetta against the Jewish people. Yet there's something about Amalek that they had to just come and attack the Jews on their way out of Mitzrayim. And what's demanded out of us, what's needed out of us, is that every single day we read about Amalek, about this nation that was ready to risk everything, put anything, I guess. I don't know what they're risking. I don't know what they have for themselves if they're able to just go and attack the Jewish people like that, just for, out of hate sake or out of whatever their motivation is. And we're told to remember Amalek, to constantly be aware of what Amalek has done for us. Just as an interesting note, is not actually where the shir is going, but I actually challenged some people to maybe write an article, do some research on what's the difference between remember Amalek and never again. One is a human-made slogan, and one is a Torah, a God-made slogan. It's something interesting to see, what actions are taken out of never again versus always remember that there's an Amalek, always remember that, So just a side note, but we're commanded to remember every single day Amalek, and the Rebbe asks a question: why? What's up with it? Why are we constantly remembering Amalek? And the Rebbe says, actually, if you look at the psukim, in the commandment of remembering Amalek, it describes not only what Amalek did, but also at what time it transpired. In other words, it says, remember what Amalek did on your way out of Egypt. In your Exodus, that's when Amalek attacked. So the Rebbe says, here we're going to get some insight into why we have to constantly remember Amalek. The Rebbe says, just like we have to remember and constantly go out of Mitzrayim every single day, which I'll describe in a second what that practically means, same too, as you're going out of Mitzrayim every single day, Amalek will be there to attack you. And just like every single day you have to remember and constantly go out, you have to constantly be aware of that and take action towards what's needed to take on Amalek. So the question is, what does it mean to leave Mitzrayim? What does it mean to get out of Egypt? What does it mean to have a daily exodus and eventually have the ultimate exodus? So the Rebbe explains that every single Yid has emunah. Every single Yid has a place inside of him where he totally is in tune with the fact that Hashem is everything. Hashem is very present. Hashem is constantly bringing the world into existence. And this emunah is very strong inside a Yid. But not always is it shining. In fact, the time when the Yidden were described as Maminim b'nei Maminim, right? Famous quote, Anachnu Maminim b'nei Maminim, that was actually describing the Jews when they were in Egypt, when they were in Mitzrayim. And the Rebbe says, so then why were they considered slaves? What does it mean to have faith? And the Rebbe explains that freedom is when you have this faith totally embodied. It's in every part of you, in the way you think, in the way you feel, in the way you behave, living from a place of emunah, living from a place of this faith, this awareness. Obviously, it's taking the faith and bringing it into a conscious awareness. And living from that place, that is true freedom. That is the idea of going out of Mitzrayim. So the Rebbe explains this. What does it mean going out of Mitzrayim? It's constantly taking steps to live more from this place. And the term that's used is iskafia. Iskafia means bending yourself, right? Not necessarily do you want to do something and you push yourself, you bend yourself. Not necessarily do you not want to do something. Let's say there's something, non-kosher, whatever your non-kosher is. and you hold yourself back, you bend yourself a bit, and you don't participate from this, right? Or you're not so interested in getting up, you're not so interested in davening with extra energy, you're not so interested in being kind, and you push yourself. You push yourself to be kind. You push yourself to give a bit more chayis in davening. You push yourself to sit and contemplate and come to davening from a deeper place, right? This is all iskafia. So the Rebbe says, what does it mean going out of Mitzrayim? He's pushing and living from this pace of faith. Give me a second. Sorry. Pushing and living from this place of faith a bit more, whether it's pushing from a place of, coming aware in your head, coming aware in the way you think, or the way you feel, or behaving in this. So we're constantly, every single day, stepping a bit more out of our Mitzrayim, out of our limitations, the limitations that our body and our animals will cover over our neshama and make it just a small little nakuda, right? We live from a small little nakuda of inspiration, and slowly pushing that out, living from that place, and living from a place of expansion, a place of this faith is wholesome. Now, obviously, it's a journey, it's a lifetime. That's why we have Pesach every single year, right? And that's why we have not only Pesach every single year, we're constantly remembering the Exodus. We do it in Shema twice. These days we do more, right? We do it in the Sheshes Chiris. We're constantly remembering and asking and taking action and trying to dig deeper to have a Yetzias Mitzrayim, to push and live from a place of faith, and obviously in different areas. So he says that is the idea of going out of Mitzrayim. And what happens is, on your way of going out of Mitzrayim, that's where Amalek attacks you. Amalek attacks you when you're trying to live from this place. When you're trying to step into a deeper place of yourself, live from a deeper place, that's where Amalek comes and attacks. And the Rebbe says, let's break this down a bit more to appreciate where exactly is Amalek attacking, and then we could appreciate how to go about it, how to be a free person, and live from an expansive place. So the Rebbe says like this: in leaving Mitzrayim, there's two parts. There's the idea of leaving Mitzrayim, and then there's the idea of entering the land of Eretz Yisrael. And the way it's described of living out of Eretz Yisrael, it says it's a land of Eretz Toiva Rechava, right? It's a land of very expansive. It's living from an expansive place. It's living from a place where your neshama and your emunah from the part of your neshama has expanded, has taken over, has prevailed, and you're living from a place of neshama, a place of emunah, and you're living from a place of awareness that Hashem is everything. And obviously that creates a certain awareness of how you treat things, and it's a certain level of love to Hashem, a certain level of appreciation of Hashem in everything, and a certain level of awe of how to treat every single item, right? Just to give an example of someone living with awe and awareness of Hashem, you have the story of the Rebbe Rashab taking a walk with the Frierdiker Rebbe, and what happens is, as they're walking, the Frierdiker Rebbe and the Rebbe Rashab are talking, and the Frierdiker Rebbe casually picks a leaf. And the Rebbe Rashab asks, what's going on? Who says that leaves, life isn't important, right? This comes from a certain awareness that Hashem isn't everything, and Hashem's choosing to give this leaf life, right? And so it pashut affects every single area of your life. And obviously just, step into a place where you're living from a place of trusting in Hashem. Now, trusting in the fact that Hashem's going to take care of you, trusting in the fact that Hashem loves you, trusting in the fact that Hashem knows how to manage the whole entire world, right? That's a hard one to believe. Yeah, just trusting that Hashem's got this. He's been doing this for many years. How different do you show up to the day when you have this attitude, when you have this awareness? It's a whole different way. So we're going out of Mitzrayim, slowly living from this place deeper and deeper to the point where this is where we're living from. That is Yetzias Mitzrayim. That's step one. And step two of living from that place. The Rebbe goes on to explain that there's another way of explaining it. You could describe the scenario, the steps of going out of Mitzrayim with the level of acharayim and panim. What does that practically mean? A lot of times in Chassidus, we speak about the idea we speak about the idea that Hashem gives klippa from the level of acharaim. What does that mean? He's not interested in giving klippa, but he wants free choice, so he throws it behind his back, right? And that's how he deals with klippa, right? So it's a level of non-interest. You guys are living for a purpose serving something else. So you're not the main focus, right? That's a level of acharaim. But in kedusha, what is level of acharaim? The level of acharaim is inspiration, where you're chasing something that's bigger than you. In other words, the same way when Kedusha is receiving from Panim, what does it mean is receiving from Panim? You're seeing a smile, Hashem's giving it to you, you're aware of the love, the focus, the measurement that Hashem's giving you, right? And there's a certain wholesome feeling of receiving that versus the klippas getting from Acharaim, they're not receiving. Same too, when we're climbing rungs in states of living, states of being, states of, godly awareness, there's a place where we fully hold that inspiration. We fully hold that awareness of Hashem's presence. And then there's the times where we're chasing something bigger. It's as if we see something from the back. It's not fully graceful. You wouldn't describe that inspiration as graceful. It's inspirational, it's fire, it's exciting. But it wouldn't describe it as seeing the wrinkles in the smile of the face, the dimples of this. It's a different type of relationship, which is also beautiful, right? So going out of Mitzrayim, you have two parts. You have the part where you realize there's a higher way of living, so you're chasing after a higher level of living. And then there's the part where you actually hold what you were chasing, right? So there's the going out of Mitzrayim and then being in Eretz Yisrael. There's the inspiration and then having it. So where does Amalek attack us? It says in the pasuk, Amalek only attacks us when we're acharecha, when we're leaving Mitzrayim, right? When we're in the inspiration, that's where the poison of Amalek comes and says, I don't know if you should be going for this. I don't know if you'll make it. Who says it's real? Who says it's important? And so on, right? We know the poisons of Amalek. Amalek comes and cools us off. He tries to lose our excitement, right? What did he do while leaving Mitzrayim? The Jews were on fire from the Jewish point and from the nations, the other nations' point. Everyone was aware, don't mess with the Jews. The Jews are God's people, right? So there's a very strong feeling of the Jews are invincible. And what does Amalek come? Nah, not necessarily. Not necessarily are they invincible. Not necessarily are they, all that hot and that great and that, centered of God's attention. Nah, right? So while we're leaving Egypt, Amalek comes in, tries to throw in doubt, tries to cool us off, and tries to slow us down. And our goal is to march forth. Our goal is to march forth and enter Eretz Yisrael. Live from a place of expansiveness, a place of trusting in Hashem, a place of awareness of Hashem, a place of love in Hashem, and a place of awe of Hashem. To live from a place of panim, where we see Hashem in everything, right? So that is where Amalek is going to find our weakness, and Amalek is going to attack us. Now, this happens to be a never-ending battle, practically, because as you grow, you become aware of new levels. And you go for new inspiration, right? The Yelchu Mechal Achayel, tzaddikim are never resting. So technically, every person has this level of acharecha, I'm chasing a higher level, and hopefully everyone has a level of panim. And we have to be aware as we're taking higher steps that Amalek is going to try to cool us off at the beginning. Now, the Rebbe throws in something really beautiful in this mimer. And he throws it in as this could be a possibility. And it's a very powerful statement. The Rebbe says like this: you could say, what is causing us to never live from a place of panim? In other words, to constantly live in a fight from a place of eskavia. I'm always pushing and bending myself, but not living from a place of eshapcha, that this is who I am. I'm a Jew. I'm trusting. I'm loving, right? I'm in awe. Right? Why do we always have to live in this place of eskafia, bending, a place of chasing inspiration? Because of Amalek. So in other words, he's not saying only that Amalek is attacking us to never enter Eretz Yisrael. He's saying is the idea that we're scared to step into Eretz Yisrael is Amalek also. Let me explain that. Practically, learning Tanya, you'll say the reason why I'm not in Eretz Yisrael is because I'm not a tzaddik. Let's get real. I'm a wannabe Bainani. I'm trying really hard. And it would be nice if I actually sincerely love Hashem. It'd be nice if I, don't have a Yitzhar knocking at my door, reminding of my other options from my previous visits, and my other fears. And it would be nice, right? But practically, like, I'm just doing my part. Don't, like when Mashiach comes, I'll be living in Eretz Yisrael. I'll have that level of expansiveness, living from a deep place of faith, right? The Rebbe is saying is true, you're right. But there's a certain part of you that also does not want to be living from Eretz Yisrael, does not want to identify as a neshama, identify as an emunah dekayid fully, as a betachin dekayid, as having Hashem bepanim, having Hashem really in your life. And why is this? Because of Amalek. The Rebbe describes there that why is this a bit of Amalek? Because the Yidden saw the Makos. The Yidden saw the splitting of the sea. They even technically saw Har Sinai. But let's minus Har Sinai. He said, why were they still struggling? Why were they still acharecha? Why were they still having iskafia? Why weren't they doing isapcha? There was something that was not letting them identify, this is who I am. Right? And you see, if you read Rebbe letters, the Rebbe says, like, didn't Hashem give you all these brachas? Just, you're describing in your life that your wife got this bracha, that bracha, this, and yet you're still struggling with having betachin, still struggling with having faith, still having, calmness. So obviously, the Rebbe is not denying the Yetzirah, because yes, we have a Yetzirah. We're not putting the Tanya in the shelf, and you still have a Yetzirah. You still have time, but at the same time, the Rebbe is saying is there is a part of us that refuses to step into Eretz Yisrael. So what is the solution to step into Eretz Yisrael? What is the solution to finally, I guess, on whatever level we could live? Because obviously there's even tzaddikim have what to climb. How much more so want to be Bainanim like us, have so much more to climb. So what is the answer? The solution is like any time to fight Amalek. What is the answer to Amalek? The Rebbe says you can't fight with someone who's chutzpahdik. There's nothing to lose, right? Certain Yetzaharas, they hide behind morals, behind philosophy. Amalek is just saying, I'm here to attack, I'm here to kill, there's no one home to talk to, right? You can't wrestle, you can't grapple with Amalek because you're just gonna, it's like a ghost, you're just gonna keep falling through and back and forth. You'll never be able to hold him down and say, this is what you stand for and you're wrong. No, he doesn't stand for anything. He stands for chutzpah. He stands for calling, and trying to put you down. So he says, so what is the answer? The answer is to be Anshe Moshe. What's Anshe Moshe? Moshe is a level of chachma, a certain awareness that everything is Hashem, a certain awareness that's all from Hashem, and a certain humility that I'm going to do what it takes to do what Hashem wants, right? That's who Moshe chose to go and fight Amalek originally, and that is our answer to fight with coldness, with party pooping, with this chutzpah. There's no one to talk to. The only thing you can answer is, I am Anshe Moshe. So when we have a struggle, yes, we should do iskafia. And yes, we should chase after inspiration, obviously Torah inspiration, and try to live on a higher level, go to from bringings. But we should also try to be a bit more Anshe Moshe. And when the Rebbe tells us, we're a neshama, tahirahi, right? We have the ability to have complete faith. We have the ability to love a fellow Yid. We have the ability to come from a place of betachan and make miracles with that betachan. We should listen to Moshe. We should step in, listen to the Rebbe, and try our best to just settle in and live from that expansive place. Now, obviously, you're going to have to deal with the Yetzaharas, and obviously, there's higher levels of living this. But the Rebbe is telling us there is this possibility to enter into our own Eretz Yisrael, right? And when we start living like that, we're going to click into a whole new level of expansiveness, a whole new level of emunah, a whole new level of loving Hashem, a whole new level of awe. And you don't know where that could take you. Eretz Yisrael is described as the land of the deer because, how do you live? How do you have so many Yidden living there? The answer is as more Yidden come, it expands. Like a deer skin, the second you take it off the deer, you don't know how it ever fitted. But it fitted, right? So saying to Eretz Yisrael constantly expands. When we step into this, we could have total, the neshama is amazing. Step in and find out, right? And the Rebbe goes on and finishes the mimer. And he says that once we fight Amalek, we get the Torah. We have Yisrael, who Yisrael's idea of questioning everything. And yes, they're adding more parts in the Torah. In other words, when we step in and we just let the Rebbe tell us who we truly are, and we step into that, before you know it, we might be able to even explain certain of the struggles. We might be able to explain even the reasons of this, challenge identity. Let me explain that. Actually, I don't know if I covered that. One of the things Amalek does is challenge our identity. In fact, Rashi explains that one of the things that Amalek did was attack the Yidden on a sexual level, which basically that could affect people's identity on a very strong level. And the Rebbe says, Anshe Moshe, you're struggling with identity, you're struggling with who you are, become an Anshe Moshe. Now, obviously, there's a lot more to figuring how to make this practical. But from a chachma, from a, if you want the pill of where to expand, it's demanded to re-identify as an Anshe Moshe. Identify as a Yid, identify as an neshama, identify and step in. And the more we step in, the more we're going to realize who we really are. All the Amaleks, all this chutzpah, all this doubt is going to fall apart. And we might even start understanding stuff on a whole new level, on a yeser level. Anyways, l'chaim, Purim is obviously tomorrow night. And the person that's trying to attack us yearly is Haman, a descendant of Amalek. And it's constantly trying to tell us to, your life is meaningless. I'm going to kill you anyway, right? That's Haman's message. Life is meaningless. It's all worthless. Everyone's going to die anyways, right? And the answer to Haman is what Mordechai did. He sat and learned Torah. What type of Torah actually? He learned Carbon, which technically had no, practical significance for an outcome, for a job. You can't become a sheikh from learning about Aimer. You can't become a mayil, can't become a rav. And practically, like, their basic English wasn't around. But Mordechai's message was, everything matters. Every minute of my Torah learning matters, right? It was an Anshe Moshe. Anshe Moshe is, I do what Hashem wants because I am Hashem's guy. I am stepping into this level of humility, this level of everything's from Hashem. And slowly, like that, I come to my true self, right? Because there's nobody home to talk to when I'm talking to Haman. Same too, there's nobody home when I'm talking with Amalek. And same too, if I want to know why I'm not ready to fully step into my Eretz Yisrael, obviously there's Yitzhars and everything, but there's a part of myself that's also scared. There's a part of myself that's calling, no, you're a faker, you're a liar, this is not who you are. And the answer is, sorry, I'm Anshe Moshe. The Rebbe told me I'm a neshama. The Rebbe told me I'm pure. The Rebbe told me I have betach. And the Rebbe told me that I have love for Hashem. And he told me, by the way, you have to work on it to actually make it, more available and more everything. That's gonna be my Yetzias Mitzrayim. But I could also, I could choose to live from this. I could choose to taste from this. Just to end up with one story, I had one of my students ask me, how to write to Rebbe. So I said, you want, we could talk about what you should personally prepare. It's like, no, let's not get personal. Give me a general rundown. So I said, probably, you probably want to go to mikvah in the morning. You want to wash negel vaser. You want to do chitas. Wear a gartel under your jacket. Give some tzedakah and wash negel vaser, and then start writing to Rebbe. And he's like, you think I'm a tzaddik? I'm like, no. You're about to meet a tzaddik. You're about to meet the Rebbe. You're about to meet someone who sees you, who you truly are. Why not step into that position a bit more and show them you're ready to receive from that level, right? So, and there's a part of us that says, you think I'm a tzaddik? You think I could live from that level? And the answer is, you have that level. And every day you're probably trying to live from that level a bit more. You're also allowed to sometimes step into that level and own it and step in. L'chaim. Actually, another story is coming to me. This is Mendel Futterfass was in jail, and they brought a whole bunch of fish, and he was starving, and he was going to go eat some fish. And then basically what happens is he realizes there's fat all around the jars, all around the barrels. So what happens is he basically, it's like, should I be eating it? It might be, non-kosher fish. It might be, pig fat. I don't know. And he's like, 1 second. The halacha is that if you're going to die, you're allowed to eat non-kosher. Straight up pig, you're allowed to eat. And then he's like thinking about the Alter Rebbe when he was in jail, was served non-kosher. He said, I'm not going to eat it. He said, but what did they answer him? They answered him, aren't you doing suicide? If you don't eat, you're putting yourself in danger. You're going to lose your Olam Haba. So he says, okay, but I'm not going to eat the non-kosher. The Rebbe has a whole sikha how the Rebbe is allowed to do that and everything, because there is what to discuss, but it's a beautiful sikha. But anyways, what happens is Mendel Futzes was like, so the Rebbe was ready to die and lose his technically Olam Haba, but he was not going to eat non-kosher. So he's thinking for a second, he's like, but I'm not a Rebbe. He says, but anyways, half the things I'm not fully integrated. I'm always living with full integrity. So just like I don't always live with full integrity and I don't always behave as I should be, I could also choose to not behave how I normally behave and be like a tzaddik. So he said, I'm not going to eat the fish. And I said, I survived to tell the story, right? So not living with integrity sometimes could give us the ability to live from a higher place. And we have the Rebbe telling us that is a truer place. And we're constantly, hopefully, trying to live from that place as we go out of Mitzrayim. But we're also allowed to taste, we're also allowed to step from that place and be the ultimate self that the Rebbe sees in us, that Hashem put in us. L'chaim, have a powerful, powerful Purim.